Coming on tonight. Good luck.
Thank you.
So we spent, 20 years and trillions of dollars building a new government, a new military in Afghanistan, and it all fell apart in about 20 minutes. Now the Biden administration is begging the Taliban to spare our embassy in Kabul. How did this happen? Why didn't we know this was going to happen? And the people who did it, they're still running the Pentagon. Why is that? That's all ahead.
Redefining insurance.
Over the past 20 years, the U.S. government has spent trillions of dollars in Afghanistan, not to mention a lot of lives. We are told that all of that would result in a good government in Afghanistan and a military that could defend it. Joe Biden was saying that as recently as last month.
Is the Taliban takeover of Afghanistan now inevitable?
No, it is not. Because you have the Afghan troops have 300,000 well-equipped as any army in the world, and an air force against something like 75,000 Taliban. It is not inevitable.
So everything's going to be fine because the Afghan military, which we trained, that's Mark Milley's department, was going to defend the country from the Taliban. Right. That turned out not to be true. The second we announced a pullout, things fell apart. The capital could fall to the Taliban in just a matter of days. Today, the Pentagon announced it's sending 3,000 troops back to Kabul to start evacuating the U.S. embassy there, helicopters on the roof kind of thing. The Biden administration is now begging the Taliban to allow that retreat. So why didn't we know this was going to happen? And the people who train the Afghan military, where are they tonight? Jimmy Dore is the host of the Jimmy Dore Show. He joins us. Thank you, Jimmy Dore, for coming on tonight. You got to wonder, 20 years of training the Afghan military by the Pentagon, what did they do with all that time and all that money?
Well, it's kind of interesting. I mean, just imagine if we weren't in Afghanistan for the last 20 years, the Middle East might be unstable. So, I mean, you remember Trump tried to pull us out. By the way, this war is bipartisan, right? As right. All wars are. Noticed. They're very bipartisan right now. The military-industrial complex has a stranglehold on both parties. So Trump was trying to pull us out of this war because it turns out you can't just invade other people's countries, set up a Starbucks and a McDonald's and think they're going to be just like us. They're not just like us. We've had fathers and sons, and pretty soon we're going to have grandsons fighting in Afghanistan. So it's a nice way for Americans to make multi-generational memories, I guess. But what happened when Trump tried to pull out, if you remember, Congressman Crowley and Cheney, Liz Cheney got together, bipartisan, and they put a stop. And they said Trump wouldn't be able to pull out unless he met these certain criteria, which we'll never meet. So they made sure the president, the commander-in-chief, could not pull us out of Afghanistan. But now here is Joe Biden, who claims he's going to pull us out of Afghanistan. Now, why is he? First of all, as soon as he announced it, he started ramping up the bombing. I don't know if you know that. He bombed Shahid Anwar Khan High School and a health clinic that killed 20 people, a lot of them women and children. So he's ramping up the bombings as he's saying we're pulling out. And I don't know what that is, if that's dementia or what, but that's the guy who's ordering the strikes. That's happening right now. So let's just remember that they increased the military budget. So why is Joe Biden being allowed to pull out of Afghanistan? Well, because he's agreed to start bombing in Somalia. I don't know if you know that's happening. Joe Biden is now bombing the poorest people in Africa. Half the country are like 40% of the country are nomads, and Joe Biden is now bombing Somalia. So and now he's occupying a third of Syria right now. So this never gets talked about, right? This never talks about. So he's just switching his imperialism, and I really appreciate you giving me a chance to come on and talk about this because they'll never stand up against imperialism at CNN or MSNBC or anywhere else. So I just want to say thanks for that. And what we need right now is a real anti-war movement to rise up in America to stop these wars. They gave Joe Biden an extra $25 billion to do war. I thought we're getting out of Afghanistan. Why does it need an extra $25 billion? And let's remember how much $25 billion is. $20 billion, they say, could end homelessness. So we just don't have the political will. Every pothole those $25 billion worth of bombs make in another country is a pothole that's not getting fixed in America. We can bomb everywhere in America, but we can't feed our own people. I live in a democratically controlled state that's got a Democratic governor, and we've got people living under every bridge in California. How about we start spending some of that money back here at home?
That would. I agree with you 100%. Jimmy Dore, great to see you tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
That's it for us. We are out of time. We'll be back tomorrow night and every weeknight, 8 p.m., the show that is the sworn enemy of lying, pomposity, smugness, and groupthink. Sean Hannity stands by for the 9 o'clock hour.